everybody. Welcome to River City Media's special edition of the halftime show this year with the DeKalb County bands. We just got finished with Mr. R, and he's been gracious enough to be a co-host with me for this episode and for the rest of the shows that we're going to do. So we've got several bands lined up. Band director's going to come on and talk, and right now we got Fyffe band director Bo Espoite with us. Bo, thanks for joining us, and thanks for taking the time out because I know it's a busy time of year with band camp going on.
Yes, sir.
So tell us a little bit about band camp. How's it going so far?
So pretty good so far. We managed to complete the first tune, marching and playing, and right now we're working on song two. About to complete it. We should have it done by the end of the week. Last week was pretty good temperature wise. This week's been pretty hot. Everybody's been hanging in there though.
That's awesome. That's good. And Mr. R, you have any questions for Bo?
What's your show theme this year?
Our show theme this year is the journey home, and which is last year was into the unknown, so this year's the return. The journey home, and we're gonna open with Seven Bridges Road by the Eagles, and then go into Born to Be Wild. A little bit of Radar Love, going into Life in the Fast Lane, and then close with Country Roads Take Me Home, and maybe a little bit of Sweet Home Alabama.
Okay.
So how do you come up with what your songs are going to be?
That's a good question. Usually what I'll do is I'll ask the juniors at the end of the year what if they have any song preferences or what kind of show they want to do, and then whatever ideas they give me, then that's what I build my show from.
That's good. So do they have some input on it, or do you just throw these songs out and say, hey, here's kind of what I'm thinking, what do y'all think? Or do you ask them, hey, what do y'all want to play? And then you just, how does it actually come down to those three or four songs?
Usually, no. What I'll do is I'll ask their input for give me song ideas, what they want to play, and then I'll just build the show around their ideas. Once I start building the show, it just kind of takes a lot on a life of its own, and you're just going, oh, I want that song, and then between your own ideas and getting ideas from other people, passing on and say, what do y'all think about this, and then getting input from other people that are very knowledgeable about shows like that. It really helps.
So. Sorry about that, Mr. I didn't mean jump in on your questions. Go ahead.
This is something that we talked about on my show, but I remember my high school band director saying to me one time that you got to pick stuff you want to listen to for 10 to 14, 15 weeks, depending on however long you always have long football seasons up there at Fyffe. And my high school band director always said, you got to find something you want to listen to for that amount of time. Does your personal interest in music influence your show? Does that ever come into something that you like? Ever come into influence the show, or do you just go on the students?
Every once in a while, I mean, I'll pick at least one song or one part of the show that I really enjoy, and that just gives me that one thing I can hang on to all year, while everything else is just on repeat. So last year, I already forgot last year's show, but last year there's a song in there I liked, and then this year is Seven Bridges Road. I think the intro that's one of my favorite songs, I think, by the Eagles, and that's going to be the little snippet that I use to hang on to and get through it. Yeah.
Okay. So let's get a little personal here. How did you start out in high school band? How did you start? Tell us kind of where you're from, and how you got started in band, and kind of how you decided to be a band director.
So all I remember about that time is just starting out in beginner band. I started on trumpet, and I remember getting the instrument, and I was started to learn how to make sound on it, just like every other beginner that we teach to goes through, and just loving it. And so started on trumpet, did that for 2 or 3 years, moved over to French horn, marched French horn, mellophone all through my high school career. Um, in a little school, Corner, Alabama, uh, just like 45 minutes or so south of Coleman. Uh, and then, as I continued band into college and everything else, every band director that I had in my life had an influence on me as a person and helping me grow as a person. But as far as being a band director, I think I've known that since probably junior, senior year of high school. And just once I said it, I went, okay, I'm going to do it. And I just did it on my own time. Took as long as it took, but it got done. We're here now.
Okay.
So,
Where'd you go to college at?
community college. I went to Wallace State Community College in Hansville, and then transferred to University of Alabama in Birmingham.
Was you in the marching band at UAB?
I was there for 5 years, and then went through all kinds of positions there, from section leader to first chair to equipment crew to driving the equipment truck and things like that. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So learned a lot there.
Driving an equipment truck. Wow. So
Mm.
you have had your foot in, or your toes in every aspect of what's the band actually does.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, they have a lot, like all colleges have their fraternities and sororities, and we had our we had our band fraternity, Kappa Kappa Psi, that being a part of that, we got to do a lot of behind the scenes equipment stuff that a lot of people don't see. Um, equipment maintenance, moving things around, making sure everything's set up where it needs to be set up, and that allowed me to get my foot into a lot of I guess logistical experience before graduating. That was probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, we do have a lot of stuff to move around on Friday nights.
Yeah, we do.
Definitely do that. Drums and
Hmm.
those of us that use electronics and batteries and speakers and everything else. We definitely have a lot to move around on Friday nights. I got a question for you that I think is interesting. So being at the legendary football team of Fyffe,
Hmm.
how do you and your students survive such long football seasons? How do your students get bored? Do they get burnt out? Do they love it from band camp to week 15? I mean, do they you ever have to put out fires? I mean, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, one of the things that we know as band directors, and actually any athletic director, sports, or anybody that deals with a not deals with it, but mentors a group of kids like that, they all get burnt out on each other. Um, so I think the burnout doesn't necessarily happen about football. It happens with just being around each other and going through the same thing over and over to an extent. As far as going to the games and having a long season, the students themselves really enjoy going to support the team. Like anytime they win and we get to go to another playoff, there's an excitement there to it, because it's like, oh, the season's over, but okay, we get one more. Do we get another one? Okay, yeah, we get another one, and that's kind of the drive. They really want to go. They really want to keep going, especially the seniors and the older kids. They really like it. The younger kids might get a little bit tired, but usually when we get around playoffs, and then they know that well, if we lose, we don't get another one. then there's a little bit more excitement there because it's a little different feel. But there are individual cases. I think it just depends on the kid, but the majority of them are really excited to go and support the team the entire season.
How does it feel, or how I guess more speaking for the kids and maybe yourself, going to the playoffs, going to all these state championship games, Jordan Hare, Bryant Denny Stadium, and the place in Birmingham,
Protective Stadium.
Protective Stadium. I always call it Progressive for some reason. I don't know why, but it's Protective Stadium. How does your kids react being on a big field like that? I know a football field's 100 foot long or 100 yards long and all that, but being in a bigger stadium, being able to perform.
The first time I went to, I think my first trip was to Auburn. So Jordan Hare, I think might have been my first one. It might have been Alabama. I don't remember. It was almost 10 years ago. Um, I was kind of in the mindset of, okay, I have a small band and I have a giant stadium. And I was kind of worried about them filling the sound and filling out. But honestly, even the small bands sound really good in those big stadiums. It's just the way they're designed, and it's always carried across really well. The kids, I'm sure a lot of them really like it, and I think the younger ones that get to sit out there for the first time, I think their eyes get about as big as a deer in the headlights, and they're doing their best to get through those weak knee moments of like, this is really a lot of people, and this is big, but they just go out there and they march it like they would at home. Because by that time, we've marched it 10 or 12, 15 times, so performed it. That doesn't include all the rehearsals, but yeah.
Right. Well, you said something earlier, and you changed your verbiage from dealing with to mentoring.
Mhm.
I think you had it right the first time, dealing with the kids because of everything that goes on with the kids and all that. And this question is for both of you.
Mm.
Have y'all ever thought about doing a halftime show with like a Minecraft theme with the music or the tone of the games that the kids are playing these days, just to see how they would respond to that?
I've thought about something like that at some point. Because I've seen other bands in the past do successfully perform a show based around video game music, and I feel like that's one genre where it can either go really, really well or really, really bad, depending on what you pick. Um, because yeah, it might be fun for the kids, but you're also trying to play to the people that are up in the stands and entertain them and keep them there. So you might lose some interest, and people are like, well, your show, y'all did good, but I didn't know what the music was, stuff like that. And then it can kind of have an effect on the amount of support that can happen, that can change the support that comes the next year and the year after that. So
Right. Or what about
yeah.
you?
I've written a couple of Nintendo. I think I've got a Nintendo show somewhere in a folder that I wrote years ago. I mean, it was like Mario themes and Legends of Zelda. That everybody's kind of of a certain age are familiar with. But I've always stuck to classic rock, 80s. I think we did a baseball show one year with "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," center field, and what did we close with? Oh, we closed with "Sweet Caroline" one year. But I think I agree with Bo there. I think you got to keep the football crowd in mind when you're doing those.
Interested.
Yeah, they're interested.
Yeah.
Because I remember last year, we did the Beatles show, and the kids really enjoyed it, and the audience seemed to enjoy it. But we tried to play one of those tunes as a stand tune with the student section. It didn't go over, and I remember saying we can't play these as stand tunes because they were just like, what's that? You know. So yeah, I think you just got to watch your target audience and just kind of go with that. I mean, it's a cool idea.
Mhm.
Because I mean, there's some incredible music in those video games.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just the target audience you got to watch.
Mhm.
You know, I hadn't even really thought about the crowd that's listening in the halftime, the people in the stands and all that. I hadn't really thought about them. I was just thinking about the kids, getting them
Mm-hmm.
not saying they're not excited, but something kind of get them a little more excited to possibly play. You know, just for excitement or whatever. So,
Mhm.
um, Bo, we've mentioned, you've been there. How long you been at Five? 10 years, I think you said.
I've been teaching 10 years, but I've been at five. This is the beginning of year 9.
9 years. Uh, Quite a few state title games, championship games, and having to get your people there, the band and everything.
Mhm.
It's got to be draining on your pocketbook to get them there, but because gas is not getting no cheaper and paying the bus drivers and all that. Um, do you do any fundraisers? Oh, I'm sure you do. Fundraisers. What do you do fundraiser wise to be able to make that money to help on that expense?
There's one fundraiser uh, that we're doing right now, as a matter of fact, and our kids are already selling, and we're selling tickets for a drawing for a freezer full of meat from a butcher shop, Crow's Butcher Shop
Hmm.
in Eider, I believe,
Yes.
and the winner gets the chest itself, the little chest freezer, plus the roughly 100 pounds of meat that comes in it, all different types of stuff. $10 a ticket, and that we started that last year on this and it worked really well. I think a parent came to me with that idea, and she was like, "Hey, let's try this." I said, "Okay," and it went really well. Then everybody has their old faithful that they go to. We sell candles. We've sold bed sheets. We have we've sold donuts. And, mm, that's pretty much. And by the time we get through those three, the year's almost over. So
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Um, so if someone wanted to buy one of those chances,
Mhm.
um, how could they buy a chance on that?
So anyone that wants to buy a chance on that freezer, you can get them from any Fife band kid. You can also you can also purchase them at any of our home games where we'll sell them from our concession stand. Uh, and again, they're just $10 a piece, and the drawing is set for September the 19th, so mid-September. We're going to be selling them for a while, so there'll be plenty of chances to stop by a Fife home game, pick one up, or get in touch with a kid that might know a Fife band kid and buy one from them that way, or a parent.
Right.
Mm.
We still got Patrick with us, but he's having some audio troubles. He's not able to hear either one of us at this point. So
Sure,
behind the scenes, we're working on it to try to get it straightened out. So it's just going to be me and you for a few minutes. So,
that's fine.
but uh, you know, Patrick already mentioned it. The long seasons for the past, well, the whole 9 years you've been there, because Fife has always been known to make it to at least the championship game, if not
Mhm.
the quarterfinals, semifinals, and all that. And
Mm.
how do you kind of keep the kids motivated to stay enthused about it?
Okay. So I can see where that can be a challenge for 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 a lot of people, and sometimes the kid the kids, the enthusiasm comes and goes, and it's not necessarily based around what we're doing for the year. Sometimes it's based around what they're going through. Sometimes it's based around what all's going on at the school, and it could be different aspects. One things that I like to do to to actually prevent it from being stale, throughout the year for these kids. Uh, sometimes they'll come up to me and say, "Hey, can we do this as the stand tune?" Sure. And we'll just add in different stand tunes or swap some out, and we'll change out stand tunes and learn something new, so that we're not playing the same thing all year. That's where we're able to change a lot. The show, once it's on the field, it's on the field. You can't really change that too much, with without spending a whole lot of time to make it right and do it right. But stand tunes, I believe that's a easy. It's probably the easiest way to make it less boring throughout the year, honestly.
Miss R, we got you back.
Where I'm back.
All right, awesome, good deal. You have any questions for Bo? I just asked him about how he made the kids interested in it. Like you've talked about. Five footballs, legendary, going 14, 15 games, and about keeping the kids interested. And he just answered that. So, in case you was getting ready to ask that way you wouldn't have to ask again. So, go ahead and fire away with Bo if you don't care.
Going back to band camp, you had any staff this year that has helped you out that you want to kind of give a shout out to?
God, yes. Um, I'm gonna be honest with you. It has been years since I've been able to get staff up here. Being in this remote location away from a lot of major colleges. Now we're close to JSU, but they also have their own hometowns the kids go back to, and they work the camps near their hometown wherever they go back to. And it's just been hard finding people. But I'm very fortunate that you know I'm graduating some kids that are just great kids that really want to come back and help. Um, so this year I've had, John Gavin Taylor come back, or come by, which I think was one of Mr. R's students at one point. And then I had two of my students. I had Logan George come back and help my low brass, and Xander Gifford come back and help my high brass. And you know, I got Xander's going to NACC, and then he's going to transfer to JSU, and then Logan George was headed to JSU on 20J. So um, I think it's both of them are on scholarship. So I think I had a really good staff this year. I'm really happy that we had them, and it really really helped build up those younger kids that were struggling. You get them in beginner band and they get a year off, and then all of a sudden they're trying really hard to remember what they were supposed to remember, because the summer tends to erase some of their learning at some point to a degree. But they have caught up, and they've done a really really great job getting those kids prepared for the next year. And they're playing so much better than I had anticipated based on what I knew from last year. But these younger kids have stepped up and our staff has really helped them out a lot.
Mr. R, why are you doing letting Mr. E steal some of your former band students to come and help him and not you?
I don't know. I think it's because his mom probably works up at Fyffe now.
Yeah.
Tammy's up there at Fyffe.
Right.
But yeah, I'll echo that what Bo said. These past several years, it's been difficult to get students to come help us out in camp, and so any help that we get is just because we're running around. That's one thing about the band directors. We're running around. We're doing paperwork. We're being handed money. We're handed health forms, bus forms. Parents are coming in, dropping this off and that off, and you're copying this and printing that, and you're trying to rehearse the band. And any help is just great that comes out and helps.
I think our biggest I think the way that we need to approach that is, we just have great kids, and you build great kids, and you get them excited about music, and then you start to graduate these students, and just having your own students come back to work your own band camp is just really the biggest benefit that we could have ever that could ever happen up here. And I had a color guard uh, uh, graduate come back, Andrea Perez. She came back, and she's actually writing the work for my show right now and teaching these young girls and helping them out too. So it's been really good to have those 4 guys, 3 of mine, 1 of Patrick's, and eh, um, come back and really dig in and help them out a lot. I know one of mine 2 years ago, last year, 2 years ago, went up and actually worked Geraldine's camp. So, I don't mind. It was good for it was good experience. I mean, it's good experience for him and it's good for those kids too. So we just gotta you know,
I know
mm,
former football players and basketball players, baseball players, when they graduate, they come back and help out sometimes that
mm,
next year, because they,
mm.
they miss it, I guess. And do y'all have a lot of band members that comes back and does the same thing for at least a year before they actually possibly move off to college?
Um, I have to a degree. Um, at least like you said, come back for one camp and then they move off and then they're all living their life and then the next year you get those graduates. But um I haven't had any consistency in those students, which is okay because they're like you said, they're going off to college and living their own life, and that's I think that's pretty normal thing to see. And I'd really like to have the same staff for a couple years in a row, at least to start building up because I'm about to have another large graduating class, and then we're going to need some extra hands, basically. So,
Absolutely.
mm.
I want to ask one more and come back to you, Mr. R. Let you ask some. Speaking of graduating classes, Mr. R told me you had a huge graduating class this past season, this past year.
10.
Uh, 10. Uh, yeah, that's pretty good for a small school. How
That's
difficult is it to replace those kids and get it to where those younger kids can kind of fill those shoes?
that is such a difficult question to answer because the way you said it, um, you cannot replace those kids. You can't. You just have to take the ones you have and teach them and get them to the point where you need them to be. Those kids that graduated, you won't get those kids back. They may come back and work band camp for you, but it is a when they graduate, the band takes on a little bit slightly different personality as a group, and you really want to build those smaller ones up to kind of be a part of the positivity that they left behind, that some of the older kids left behind, and let them buy into that part. And it takes some time. It takes time and a lot of extra practices and just consistency. Just having them keep trying and teach them different ways and get different people in to help. If you could, maybe your camper staff can't come back and find some other graduate. Say, hey, can you come by for a day and help out these kids? Yeah, they will. So that's pretty much how we do it up here.
That's cool. Mr. R?
Mm.
I've got a student that's coming back this year that's helping me out a little bit. But he's helping me out with percussion, and I have had color guard come back before and help out a little bit here and there. But as Bo said, a lot of times, they're moving on. They're going to college or going to the workforce or something. Getting married, kid or something. Some of them do get married right out of high school, and but I do have them come back and visit and say hi. They'll pop in occasionally. But yeah, they mostly are just moving on. And what Bo said about personality, that is huge. When you have a group of kids graduate and you get that next year, the personality just changes.
Mhm.
It just changes, and sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's kind of, I'm not gonna say bad, but it's just different, you know. It's like I said earlier. You just have to, as a teacher, you just have to gauge what you're dealing with,
Mhm.
and adapt and go, you know.
Right. We have some more questions for Bo.
Yeah. So that was one thing. Your student leadership. Um, who's your student leaders, your drum major, your captains, and give us a little bit about how you go about by choosing them for their roles.
Uh, so drum major is Brian Valencia, drum captain, uh, Marty Wyatt, color guard captain, Emma Massengale, uh, woodwind captains. We've got we've got Alicia Maddox. I've got Kate Comfort, and then for brass captains, I have sorry brass captains. I have uh, bless my heart, uh, Alexa George right now that I know of. Uh, and a lot of times, there are a lot of band programs go through a selection process and a tryout process for some of these things. But what I've found is the group of kids that I've had the past couple of years, the leadership um, roles have happened more organically than through a tryout process. You know, you always had those kids, those certain kids that are like they go above and beyond, and you know they might do all state, they might do county honor band, they might do solo ensemble and these other events, and they go extra mile, and you're like, that's going to be my captain next year, you know. And those are the ones that have a strong reading ability and a strong sense of musicality in general, and they're able to help the younger ones with the knowledge that they gain from going and doing those extra things. So those are usually how I choose captains. uh, like I said, it always happens that way. I haven't had to have auditions for drum major in a long time because a lot of the kids are, they'll just say, we want him as, you know, he's drum major, she's drum major, and they'll just pick them. I'm going, okay, I'm good with it. Um, but I do put the kids through a process. So towards the end of the season, uh, you know, everybody does things different. We will do our after school practices 3 to 5, and then we end with a dismissal. The drum major always dismisses, uh, and it's kind of a tradition that's been there since before my time. So I haven't touched that. And at that point, I will start letting students volunteer. I'll ask, hey, who wants to dismiss the band today, and just let them kind of take it, and then you'll get to hear there's a certain way that's, you know, that leader will speak to the band or call a command, and the band will respond with more energy, or sometimes they'll respond with less energy. You can hear the interaction between the person that's giving the command and the response from the band, and how that energy exchange happens. So just simply calling them to attention, and they get a vocal response. You know, if they can evoke a good response from the band, and there's a lot of respect there for that person, then they're going to be, you know, I think really strong communicators and good leaders for the whole band program as a whole. So,
That's a good point about being organic and just kind of moving to. I think that's one of the things that with us teaching small band programs, and I mean, I came out of a large high school band program, and we'd have 5, 6, 7 people every year trying to have a drum major, and we don't have that big of a pool for us to pull from. So I do think that that's a good point about honor band and all state, and they normally do gravitate uh,
mm.
towards those positions, which is good. Um, Tell us a little bit about your parent leadership this year, and how your boosters and everything are going. And
Oh my gosh, I could not ask for better parents um, for the past several years. They have been just phenomenal at supporting the kids and helping raise money. Uh, to support the program. As a matter of fact, uh, I I I think the band parents since I've been here have been really good. I think I know several schools up here have bought new uniforms, so that's a huge band parent thing, band boosters thing, because it takes a lot of work on their end to make that happen. Um, and then since I've been here, we have bought many new instruments, new drum line, new just everything that we needed to have, and then some just for the kids. And it's based off of everything that they do. You know, the any extra fundraisers that we might do outside of school time, like taking up donations here and there, or just going and finding people to donate to your band program at any given time is a huge thing. Uh, and you know that when anybody runs a fundraiser and you hand stuff to the kids, like, all right, kids, go sell. They're going to take it home to their mom and dad, and the mom and dad's going to sell at work. We all know how that's going to go, and that's great. That's great, but that fundraising doesn't happen without that parent taking the initiative to take it to work and actually putting themselves out there to their coworkers, saying, "Hey, my kid's raising money for this. Let's go." And
Mhm.
it's the band parents make the world go round all day long, 365 days a year. Because without their help, it it would just be infinitely harder for anything to really happen in a band program, and give to the kids in the way that we are able to. So,
Yeah.
and this year's group is no different. They're still running strong. They're still providing for the kids, and I think it's wonderful what they're able to do for us.
Yeah, I mentioned I've got a great group of parents this year, and I've always, with the exception of the COVID year 2021, wherever it was,
Mhm.
I've always had great parents that just jumped in and did whatever. And it's one of the reasons I like Sylvania so much is, you need, I know I'll say this on Howie. Um, we had a stop for the door on our big loading door in the band room, and we had a stop for it outside. And when school went through one summer, and they just threw it away. And I think I mentioned it to Howie or something. He said, let me see what I can find about it. And he didn't come up to me, didn't say anything. I just walked out. There was a brand new stopper on the door, And the next time I saw him, I was like, "Did you do that?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "Well, thanks, man."
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, just great, 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 great parents that always support the band kids up here. It's great.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Do you have a band boosters or anything?
Me?
Yes, you.
Oh yes, yes.
Could you tell us a little about them, the president, vice president, or
Oh, the
or how's
boosters.
that work out? Yes.
Actually, right now, um, I'm kind of hesitant to say anybody is in any particular office right now due to the fact that we are in the middle of swapping, our outgoing parents into our incoming parents. So
Okay.
new offices taking place. So I don't want to really say that, but I can give a shout out to a lot of the parents that have helped. I mean, if that's what you're looking for. So, but past several years, the the lifeline, not this is not from 2017, but just the past, 3 or 4 years or five or however many that I can remember. But I've had Joey Gifford, I have Stephanie Gifford, I've had Erica Davis, I've had Nicole Maddox, Jay Maddox, I've had Charlie Reno, I've had like we still have Samantha Roberts, Jennifer Gant, um, Tina Glasgow, just to name a few. There are many, many more. Jeff George, um, Ryan Wyatt. Uh, there are more. There are more, but those are the ones that are on the top of my memory right now. Because so many names pass through that concession stand that I can't keep up with all of them. Um, but without those guys and the many other parents that have really Lisa Hampton, um, Leandra Massengale, uh, Haley Johnson. Um, there's still more. There's still more. Like I
Right.
can't think of all of them, like I said, but um, everybody takes a job and they just divide and conquer, and it's really amazing. They've got it down to, what do you call it? It just runs like clockwork. Even though there are some things once in a while, but those parents go in there and it's just the concession stand lights up, boom, everything comes on, boom, everything's cooking and going. And by the time you walk in with your band, they're just sitting there going, all right, you know, waiting on
Right.
people to come buy the stuff that we just made. It's really amazing to see all that stuff work. And it takes everybody to do a little bit. Each of them does a little bit, and it all adds up to the big picture, which is bigger than they realize, actually. So
So do you have changes every year, or is it this just a year that you've had some changes because you've had graduation? Well, I'm sure because of graduation, most of it's because
mm,
you had 10 of them to leave you this year. So I'm sure there's some shoes that you're having to fill on the booster side.
there are there are every year we offer it up, you know, to see if anybody would like to step up and do something different, just to give some parents a break if they've had it for a couple years, because it's honestly it's more work than I could wrap my head around combined, collectively. But every year we offer it, see if anybody wants to step up. But when there's a graduation and a parent steps out because their kid's no longer here, they're in college, so they're going to go, you know, take a break and while the kid's in college and stuff. uh that's when that's when you have to find someone to step into that role. But it's the same as kids. You can't replace the parent that just left. You're just bringing somebody new in that's going to have new ideas, and mm, they're just going to make it their own. And even band booster organization changes personalities as parents come and go.
Right. Uh,
I
with the band boosters and everything, I guess this may be for both of you.
hmm,
With you having changes going on this year, would you like for one of the boosters to be someone that has a young kid that will be in the boosters for several years instead of having changes every year?
ideally, it would be nice to have someone hold their office position for several years, because that makes things run a lot smoother. They get a schedule, they get everything organized, they get a way of doing things, uh, for lack of a better word. I can't think of the word I'm reaching for. But anyways, they get it organized the way they want it, and then those same parents just keep it rolling. And then the ones that are working in there with them, the ones that come up then under that, they learn that same system. Thank you. They learn the same system, and then it just keeps going, and it just builds from there. It's really wild to watch, especially as parents leave and come and go, and just you just see everything still going. And you're like, I don't know, it's just cool.
Yeah, it's good to have a young member's parents, but as Bo said, sometimes burnout comes in because
Hmm.
you know the roles are the same because like I've had the same president now for 2 or 3 years, and but I'm on my third treasurer now in 3 years because one student quit. He went to a sport, and then the one I had last year, she came up. She was like, "Hey, she told the booster president, she was like, hey, between work and life and the kids, and I just can't, I just can't be in there on Friday nights anymore." And so, yeah, we're going in a new direction this year, and my new treasurer, she came in with a whole lot of new ideas. I was like, yeah, let's give them a shot, because it's you have to, you're basically running a little restaurant in a
Hmm.
concession stand on Friday nights. You're basically running a restaurant, and if it's not turning a profit, it's not doing any good. And so, you got to refresh that menu every so often, or things get stale out there. But yeah, it's good. I personally just kind of offer it up every year. I'm like, well, I offer it up every year. I'm like, hey, anybody want to take a shot? No, okay, you're in it again. You know, and because mostly it's band boosters are most actually active during football season.
Right.
Most active. I mean, they're active all year round, but most active is football. When you run in that concession stand, and then after that, things do kind of move into fundraising. But
Mm.
it is good when they stick around for a while.
My opinion, I've been to a stadium or two in my lifetime, and high school stadiums, and I think Fife has got one of the ideal setups because Fife's Band Boosters concession stand is right beside the visitors bleachers there, and so
Mhm.
you're going to get those visitors that's just going to you're right there at it. They're going to come down and get it. Where at Sylvania, it's the home side can go either way, and then I think a lot of the visitors goes to the quarterback club one because it's a little bit easier to get to. But
Mm.
the way Fife is set up, it's easier to get to from both sides. It's easier, but I think you get more of the visitors coming to it than you would the home. But I think it's a good setup the way that Fife has got it.
You would think that. You would think that. And we do have a lot of visitors come, but I'm telling you, we have a lot of home people come to ours too.
Right.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I think our parents do a really good job with the food there. And they, like you said, they do change it up sometimes. I mean, they'll do some home cooked stuff and just bring it in. Mm, it's really, like I said, it's really fun to watch. They come up with new ideas and it's just cool. Yeah.
Something I've noticed that I've been to a few Fife games, and after y'all get done performing, or used to, after you got done performing at home, y'all would go out to the past or the concession stand there, and y'all would keep on marching into a complete circle.
Yeah.
What started that? What's the reasoning behind that?
Um, I can't tell you how that started because I don't know. They were doing it when I got there. So
Okay.
that was started years before me, and it's been a tradition. And the purpose of it is it circles up the kids in an organized manner. So uh, you can march everybody off the field, doesn't matter how long you have to go or how short the distance is. You circle them around and you just line them up in a little pod. Mm. And the drum major ends up in the center, which allows the drum major to give instructions of, all right, guys, here's what went well. Here's what I saw that needs to be improved, and make sure you're back in your seats at this time on the clock, stuff like that, and kind of give information and instruction before letting them go back into the stands and put their stuff up, so the kids know exactly what's going on and where to be and when.
I've always thought that was one of the coolest things I've ever, or not really ever saw, but I've witnessed as far as them marching off, and it's just a complete
Mm.
circle until everybody gets completely off the field, and I think they even go one or two rounds when everybody's in there too, and then they
They do.
stop, and I've
Yeah.
just thought that was one of the most interesting things, but I've never had no one to ask to see a why or b when it started. At least I found out why.
Mm.
Now I've just got to go a little bit further back to figure out who kind of started it, I guess.
Oh, we'll probably have to ask Bill Henson that question right there. But you get there and you see something and you go, well, that's efficient. That works. Don't fix it. Leave it in place. Kids love it. It's tradition. Mm,
It's
so
like my dad used to say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
exactly,
So,
exactly.
Mr. R, you have any more questions before we let Bo go? Bo, we appreciate your time tonight, and
Sure.
we're hoping you have a great season this year. And if Fife football is the way it always is, you'll have a long string of games for next probably 15 weeks.
No, I hope so. These seniors are looking forward to it. And they're not ready to say goodbye to their final season, and every year it's the same. So maybe we can get a good number of games for all the seniors, band cheer and football seniors, as all of that, all of them, because it's a big moment for them.
Are you? I know I asked you this, but you have any more questions for him?
I know I'm good.
You don't ask them the question about the band names.
So what do you know about college band names and high school bands and how they got their names? $1 Million Band, Sound of the South. What's UAB's band? It's the what's their moniker?
Marching Blazers.
Marching Blazers. That's right.
Yeah.
Tell us, do you know how the Blazers? I guess because of the UAB Blazers. Is that it? I mean, is there a story behind it that you know? They asked me about Jack State, so we were going to ask you since
So I think it's just because of the mascot, just the Marching Blazers, as far as I know. Yeah, I didn't really in my time there. I didn't really think much about the title, and it wasn't because our marching band started a little bit later than say JSU's or other college bands, and so the history is there, and it's actually being built really well established and really well established. And so
Sure.
I really enjoyed my time there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a great program. But there's a lot that I don't know that, and I didn't think to ask when I was there. But
What's the official name of the Fyffe band?
oh, Red Devil, the Fyffe Red Devil Marching Band is what we've been using. There was another one, and I can't put my finger on it right now, but I have decided. I mean, Fyffe Red Devil Marching Band's okay. I like it because we do march, but I like using the just Fyffe Band as a whole encompassing theme because it ties in what we do in the spring plus the fall because what you do in the spring prepares you for what you're going to do in the fall, really. So
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, we throw some crazy questions out every once in a while, and I guess that was one of them. And all the other band directors that may be watching this, get ready because this is probably one of the questions that are going to be coming to y'all as well. So
I hope none of my UAB alumni people are seeing this because I'm really embarrassed. I don't know that information. But hey, I know somebody. If there's that information to be known, I know somebody I could call and get it. So maybe I should.
that's good.
Yeah.
You're going to be at a competition this year. You want to tell us where it's going to be at? I mean, I already know the answer, and I already knows the answer, but we'll let you tell us about the competition and get the word out there.
So right now I'm looking at the march competition at West End, the Beaver Pond Marching Invitational. That one's for certain. And there may be another one in there somewhere. I'm kind of trying to decide which one I want to go to prior to that. I think though that the West End competition will be our probably the last one we'll go to. That's mid-October, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, something. Yeah, so mid-October probably where I'm going to wrap it up due to the fact that you know we're still playing football and putting together a Christmas concert and prepping for Christmas parade and trying to wrap up and trying to get MPA music going and concert music going at the same time. It's November, December is so we try to not to go
There's a lot
too
of
late in the season.
there's a lot of ands in there, and
Yeah,
that's
people
way too many ands in there.
people don't realize what all band directors do and band programs do because they all they see is the final performance. They don't see what it takes to get to that performance. That's unfortunate, but
That's why I'm doing these shows to let everybody know what's going on. You know, it's more than just going out and practicing an hour or so a day and then showing up on Friday night and doing and sitting in the. They don't realize everything that goes on and all the work that y'all do, not just during football season, but after football season, before football season, during the spring, during the summer, and everything. So that's why I'm doing these shows to let y'all get recognized and get the word out to everybody that, hey, these kids work just as hard as everybody else does for a Friday night game.
Oh gosh, they do. They work harder than we do. They're the ones out there marching on the dot. They're the ones learning their music. They're the ones learning the show. The directors are out there going, "Get on your dot," and they're the ones out there sweating, trying to, okay, all right, and they scoot over, but they're the ones that are doing all the work. The kids are. We just facilitate what they do, really.
Right. I had a comment from the founder of River City Media, Randall Cunningham, said, "Thank you for investing in our future and our young people."
Hmm.
Uh, so, you know,
You got some great ones to invest in. So there you go.
I've got a lot of friends that are teachers and coaches and all that, and I try not to bother them during their work time at school and all that, which I know it probably won't happen no more with the new state law. But anyway, uh, I'll may send them a text and everything, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I know you're trying to educate our future because Lord knows they need all the help they can get. So, but y'all are helping our future as far as what's going to happen when we get old.
Mm.
They're the ones that's going to be running the place.
I hope so. Because if they're able to come back and run the place and do a good job, then we've done our job. That's what I want for these guys. And one day I want to be able to retire from here, and one of my previous, maybe one of my former students come back and take my position.
Yeah,
I'd love to see that happen. That'd be awesome.
it would be. Yeah, and I think that's what every coach kind of hopes for, that they can kind of, what's the old saying, give the keys to the Mercedes or whatever to someone else and let them drive it for a while.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That'd be great. Bo, we appreciate your time. Mr. R, thanks for helping me co-host this.
Absolutely.
We're back a week from tonight with two more. Do you know who they are yet, Mr. R? Or
I haven't yet. I do know that the week of the 13th is Vanessa Markham. She's the band director at Collinsville. But I'm trying to line up Geraldine and Ider for next week. They've agreed to the interview, but we're all in camp right now, so
right.
I'll send them a text and see if I can't wrangle them up next week. So hopefully Geraldine and Ider next week.
That'll be awesome. Thanks for everybody watching. We've had good numbers tonight on both shows, and spread the word about this. River City Media. We're not just a quote unquote sports show. We are a little bit of everything. And Bo, if I know you got the meat fundraiser going on right now, it's a great deal. I'm going to try to get with you and get a ticket or two myself. I'm about 6'2" and 240, so I'm always down to grab some free meat if I can win it somehow. So. But yeah, I'm going to try to get in contact with you and get a couple of chances on it. Never know. And so, but one more time, could you tell us, if someone wants a chance from this, how they could possibly get it?
Sure, they can come to any Fyffe home game. Go to our concession stand. If they have any parents that know Fyffe kids or Fyffe parents, they can contact them if their kids in the band. Get them that way. They can just come, contact the school and ask if they can pick some up I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. Right now, it's just the kids going out and selling them. The parents have them, and I have them. But I think the best way to get in contact with them is just get in contact with the band parent of Fyffe, or come to a home game and grab them from our concession stand. I'm sure we'll have some at UFO Day coming up at the end of August, the Fyffe UFO Day. We'll have a tent set up. You can buy some there. And sorry, a spider just made home right there. My bad. And you may even be able to catch us at Fyffe Fan Day next Friday night, about 6 o'clock. We'll have a tent set up where we're selling advertisements for bragging on your seniors and stuff in our program, where we'll probably have some for sale there too. So
awesome. And you said it's $10 a ticket to win
10.
$10.
About 100 pounds of meat, 10 pounds of this, 10 pounds of that. It's a little bit of everything. You're talking about hamburger, bacon, steak, stuff like that. It's a little bit of everything. You know, it's not store bought stuff.
Right.
It's fresh meat.
And did you
Good
say
stuff.
the freezer come with it as well, or
It
is that
does. Oh, it does.
so you get a
So
freezer? You win a freezer and a freezer full of meat
mhm.
for possibly a $10 chance.
So the winner goes to the butcher shop and picks up the entire freezer and just takes it home, plugs it in.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
I'll,
it's a
I'll
good deal.
I'll spend $10 on that. Just take a
There you
chance
go.
on that.
There you
So,
go.
but once again, Mr. R, thanks for joining us
Sure.
during your show, and thanks for being a co-host tonight. Oh, Esposito, if
Yes,
there's
sir.
anything we can do for you, let us know. We'll promote it on our website and everything. And thanks for your time tonight. And I know it's a crazy time. I saw Mr. R at our booster meeting last night, and he was dragging. His rear end was dragging to the car last night after being with those kids and out in the heat and
Yeah,
everything. And I know you're suffering the same heat and everything this week as well with the camps.
we are.
Is this your last week for the camp, or will you go next week as well?
Oh, this is our last week. We went all week last week, and the weather was great. This week just decided to scorch us a little.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
maybe tomorrow and Friday will be supposedly be a lot better. So we'll hopefully get our second tune completed, marching and playing at least to some extent before we get started with school. So it'll be good.
Yeah, I think tomorrow, instead of being 150,000 degrees, it's going to be 125,000 degrees. So that'll make it a little bit better.
Oh yeah, very noticeable. Yeah, absolutely.
So thank y'all guys for joining us tonight. And
Yeah.
so go out and support these guys with whatever they got going on. So good night. God bless everybody.